I want you to imagine a battlefield soaked in fog. A samurai collapses to one knee, a blade driven straight through his chest. Any ordinary man would fall, but this warrior doesn't. His eyes narrow, his feet root into the earth, and with a final surge, he rises again, swinging with a force that seems impossible for a body pierced through the heart. For centuries, this story repeated itself in countless battles, and warriors whispered the same secret. The real center of strength is not the heart at all. It is the hara, the energy center buried deep in the belly, exactly 2 inches below the navel, the place they called their 2 inches of gold. When I first heard samurai masters claim that 90% of a person's power comes from their hara, I thought it was myth, but the more I looked, the more I realized every sword school, every ancient scroll, every meditation text pointed to the same truth. Control your hara, and you control your life. Lose it, and you lose your strength, your balance, even your courage. So before we go any deeper, let me ask you something. Did you know your true power doesn't live in your chest, but in your lower belly? The samurai didn't just fight with muscle or technique. They fought with hara, their inner gravity, their hidden weapon, the true navel of the soul. When they spoke of a warrior's courage, they didn't point to the chest like we do today. They pointed to the stomach. To them, the hara wasn't a poetic metaphor. It was the place where life, death, and honor converged. A samurai who lost his hara lost everything: strength, clarity, and the ability to stand firm in the storm of blades. That is why, in the most extreme act of loyalty and resolve, the samurai performed seppuku. Outsiders saw it as self-destruction, but to the warrior class, cutting open the belly was proof that their spirit was pure, that their courage came from the deepest part of their being. They believed the hara held their essence, their integrity, their center of gravity as a human being. To expose it was to reveal their truth. And on the battlefield, this wasn't just philosophy. Samurai trained their breath to sink downward, anchoring every inhale into the hara, so their legs stayed firm even while blood drained from wounds. Warriors reported that when they breathed into their hara, the world slowed down. Their footing became immovable. Their mind stayed awake. Their body refused to collapse. The oldest martial arts manuals taught that before you swing a sword, before you draw a bow, even before you take a step, you must settle your mind in your hara, because only then are you unshakable. When I close my eyes and picture those ancient battlefields, I can almost feel the ground trembling beneath my feet. The air is thick with dust, the scent of iron drifting from freshly drawn blades. And in the middle of all that chaos, the samurai stand not like men, but like mountains. Their bodies move, but their centers never waver. Every step begins from the hara. Every slash is powered from that deep, silent core. It's as if an invisible weight pulls them downward, rooting them to the earth while the storm of war rages above. I imagine myself standing among them, sword trembling in my hands, breath shallow in my chest. A seasoned warrior sees the fear in my eyes. He doesn't correct my stance. He doesn't lift my blade. Instead, he taps my lower belly. "Here," he says. "This is where you live." And when I try it, when I drop my breath from my panicked chest into my hara, the trembling stops. My feet grip the dirt. My vision sharpens. My heartbeat slows, even though arrows whistle overhead. The old sword schools knew this transformation well. In fact, some dojos refused to teach techniques until the student could demonstrate perfect hara breathing. They believed that without anchoring the mind in the hara, every punch, every cut, every movement would be hollow, just muscle without spirit. So students spent months sometimes years, simply learning to breathe correctly. Because a warrior who masters his hara becomes something terrifying on the battlefield, grounded, calm, impossible to push or break. These stories didn't fade with time. Modern martial arts, Aikido, Kendo, Kyudo, Iaido, still begin with the same command whispered through generations. Settle your breath in the hara. It's a reminder that strength doesn't explode outward. It rises from within, pulled from an ancient center most people have forgotten how to feel. When I first heard that the samurai's energy center might have a scientific explanation, I doubted it. But modern research has done something extraordinary. It has taken the ancient mystery of the hara and translated it into physiology, biomechanics, and measurable force. The secret is something called intra-abdominal pressure, or IAP. You've felt it before, even if you didn't know the name. It's the natural pressure created when you breathe deeply into your lower belly instead of your chest. And when this pressure rises, something powerful happens. Your entire core becomes a solid pillar. Sports scientists have been measuring this for years. In 2015, researchers studying strength performance found that athletes who increased IAP during lifts produced significantly more force and protected their spine far better than those who didn't. Another study in 2020 reinforced the same idea. Belly-centered breathing creates a stability effect that no amount of raw muscle can replace. Imagine your abdominal cavity like an internal balloon. When you expand it properly, that balloon becomes rigid, turning your torso into a stable pressurized chamber that amplifies strength. Now picture a graph tracking abdominal pressure against weightlifting performance. As pressure climbs, strength output rises almost in a straight line. It doesn't level off. It doesn't dip. It surges. And the moment pressure drops, when the breath escapes upward into the chest, stability collapses and performance falls like a stone. This is why elite powerlifters, wrestlers, martial artists, and even Olympic shooters practice deep core breathing long before they touch a barbell or weapon. Without IAP, they're fighting against their own body. So when the samurai said the hara was the root of strength, they weren't wrong. They were simply describing a truth science wouldn't quantify until centuries later. The center of power isn't the heart. It's the engine hidden 2 inches below the navel. As I dove deeper into the science of the hara, I realized something astonishing. The samurai weren't just talking about strength. They were describing a complete internal system, a synergy of muscles, organs, and nerves working together like a perfectly tuned instrument. At the center of this system is a partnership most people never think about: the diaphragm above and the pelvic floor below. When you breathe into your hara, these 2 structures move in harmony. The diaphragm descends, the pelvic floor responds, and the abdominal wall expands outward. This synchronized movement creates a dome of stability that wraps around your spine like armor. But if you breathe into your chest, everything collapses. The diaphragm barely moves. The pelvic floor doesn't engage. The core stays hollow, soft, and unstable, and your strength leaks out like air from a pierced drum. This is why chest breathers fatigue faster, lift less, and lose balance under pressure. They're missing the internal support system the samurai treated as their most sacred weapon. And this isn't just physical. Breathing into the hara activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the calm branch, the grounded branch. That's why martial artists seem so composed even seconds before impact. Their breath drops low, their center stabilizes, and their mind becomes quiet. The hara doesn't just fortify the body, it anchors the spirit. Let me ask you something right now. Do you feel your belly bulging when you inhale? Or does your chest rise first? Most people are shocked when they notice the truth. If your chest jumps upward before your stomach moves, you're not breathing into your hara. You're losing the natural pressure your body was built to use. Think of the hara as a sleeping dragon. Every proper inhale wakes it up, tightens your core, sharpens your awareness. Every chest breath puts the dragon back to sleep, and the samurai understood this instinctively. Their training hall floors echoed with the sound of slow, deep belly breaths. Warriors pressurizing their bodies from the inside out, preparing for moments where 1 second of weakness could mean death. So if you've ever wondered why some people feel solid when you push them while others wobble, why some athletes seem to generate power effortlessly while others strain and shake, why some fighters remain calm under attack while others panic, the answer often comes back to the same forgotten skill, the ability to breathe into the hara. Now that you understand the power hidden beneath your ribs, it's time to feel the hara for yourself. I want you to follow this slowly, exactly as the samurai once did. Patient, deliberate, and fully aware of every sensation inside your body. Start by placing one hand gently on your lower belly, right over the spot that lies 2 inches below your navel. This is your energy center, the place they called 2 inches of gold. Keep your shoulders relaxed, your jaw loose, and your spine tall. Don't force anything yet. Just feel your hand resting there, waiting. Now inhale for 4 seconds, but don't let your chest move first. Imagine your breath dropping down like a stone sinking through water. Let your belly expand into your hand, as if you're inflating a small balloon deep inside your abdomen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold that fullness for just a moment. Feel the pressure building gently from within, and then exhale for 4 seconds. Slow, steady, controlled. As you breathe out, imagine the air retreating back into the center of your hara, gathering strength instead of evaporating. Most people get this wrong the first time. Their chest rises, their neck tightens, their shoulders tense. That's chest breathing, and chest breathing is the enemy of real power. When you breathe high and shallow, you lose up to 70% of your natural strength because your core remains soft and unpressurized. The samurai called this floating breath, the breath of someone who could be knocked over with a single push. But when the breath sinks downward, when it anchors into the hara, your entire torso stiffens like a tree trunk, unshakable. Let's try it again. Hand on belly. Inhale for 4. Belly expands. Chest stays still. Exhale for 4. Feel your center becoming heavier, denser, more grounded. Do it slowly, without forcing. Forcing. You're not trying to puff out your stomach. You're trying to guide your diaphragm downward, to awaken the hidden weapon at the base of your being. If you're doing it right, you'll notice something subtle. Your stance feels firmer, your mind quieter, your attention pulled inward. This is how the samurai prepared before drawing their blade. Not with adrenaline, not with tension, but with a single breath directed into the hara. An act so simple, yet so powerful it could decide whether they lived or died. Now that your breath has begun to settle into the hara, we can refine it, smooth it out, deepen it, and transform it from a mechanical action into a living experience inside your body. This is the stage where breathing stops feeling like something you do and starts feeling like something you become. Place your hand on your lower belly again, but this time close your eyes. Remove the visual world so you can sense what's happening beneath your skin. Your breath should no longer feel like air moving in and out of your lungs. It should feel like a quiet wave, rising and sinking inside your energy center. Inhale for 4 seconds, and as you do, feel your belly push gently into your hand. Not because you're forcing it, but because the diaphragm is lowering like a great dome settling downward. Let the breath spread sideways, backward, and even downward into your pelvis. When you exhale, don't collapse your belly suddenly. Let it retreat slowly, as if your heart is pulling the breath back in for safekeeping. Your lower abdomen should feel warm, full, and slightly heavy, like the weight of a small stone resting inside your core. This is where visualization becomes your ally. Picture a sphere of light resting 2 inches below your navel, your 2 inches of gold. With every inhale, the sphere expands like a glowing lantern, illuminating your entire torso from the inside. With every exhale, it contracts into a tight, powerful center point. The samurai used images like this to train themselves to direct awareness deep into the belly, even under extreme stress. You might be surprised how quickly your mind responds to the image, how your breath deepens the moment you imagine the light expanding. Now let me ask you something. Do you feel the breath spreading outward, or does it still stay trapped high in your ribs? If you feel any tightness in your chest or shoulders, gently relax those areas. Let gravity pull your breath downward. Your body knows how to do this. You're simply reminding it of an ancient pattern it has forgotten. As the breath grows more consistent, you'll start to notice changes. Your lower belly may feel denser, heavier, almost magnetic. Your feet may feel more rooted to the floor, as if the weight of your center is anchoring you. And your mind, usually scattered or noisy, begins to narrow into a single point of awareness inside your hara. This stillness is not empty. It's loaded, coiled, quietly powerful, like a bowstring drawn halfway. That's the feeling warriors sought before entering combat. Keep inhaling for 4. Keep exhaling for 4. Let the breath drop, settle, return to the same point. This rhythm is the heartbeat of the hara, the quiet pulse behind all strength, stability, and unshakable presence. Imagine you're standing in front of a heavy barbell, or a box you've been meaning to lift, or even a stubborn piece of furniture that refuses to move. Most people walk up, tense their shoulders, grit their teeth, suck in their stomach, and then strain with every muscle they have. But that's not how a samurai would lift. A samurai would lower his breath first. He would fill the hara, not the chest. And in that single moment, the entire mechanics of the body would change. I want you to try this with me, not by lifting something yet, but by preparing your body the way a warrior does. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Place one hand lightly on your lower belly. Before you move a single muscle, take an inhale into your hair for 4 seconds. Feel the expansion. Feel the weight drop. Feel the pressure building like a quiet inner shield. Hold it for a moment. Exhale for 4 seconds without letting your core collapse. This is your foundation. Now picture yourself approaching that heavy object again. But this time, instead of tensing your neck or locking your jaw, you send one more breath downward. Your belly expands outward, your torso stiffens from the inside, and your spine becomes supported by a cylinder of pressure. Your 2 inches of gold working like a piston. When you bend your knees and grip the weight, you'll notice an immediate difference. Your body feels united, not fragmented. The strength doesn't come from your arms or your back. It rises from deep inside the hara, pushing upward like a wave lifting a ship. This is why lifters who learn deep core breathing suddenly add kilos to their lifts without gaining a gram of muscle. It's why martial artists can throw opponents twice their size. It's why ancient warriors seemed unreasonably strong, because when the hera engages, the entire kinetic chain fires as one organism. Your legs, hips, and torso stop acting like separate pieces. They fuse into a single engine of force. Try imagining it right now. You inhale into your hera. You feel the pressure rise, and as you lift, the breath doesn't fly upward into your chest. It stays anchored low, creating a stable chamber that channels power into your arms. Everything feels smoother, heavier, slower, yet surprisingly easier. And here's the most fascinating part. Once you learn to apply hair breathing to lifting, your confidence changes too. You no longer hesitate. You no longer overthink. You step forward with the steadiness of someone who knows their power does not come from muscle alone, but from a deep internal reservoir the world cannot see. This is the first real test of hara breathing. Lifting weight, not with force, but with pressure, grounding, and presence. And once you feel the difference, you will never lift the old way again. Now I want you to picture a different challenge. Not lifting something heavy, but supporting your entire body on one arm. The one-arm push-up is a movement that exposes every weakness instantly. If your balance is off by even a few centimeters, you collapse. If your core softens for even a second, you sink. Most people try to brute force it with biceps, shoulders, and chest muscles, but that's why they shake and wobble like a tower built on sand. The real secret to mastering this movement isn't arm strength. It's the hara. Let's step into the position together. Place one hand on the floor, the other behind your back. Before you shift your weight, before you lower your chest an inch, do what the samurai would have done. Breathe into your hara. Inhale for 4 seconds. Let the belly expand. Let the body grow heavier at the center. Feel the pressure surround your spine like an internal shield. When the breath fills your hara, your torso becomes unified, solid, compact, unmoving. Now imagine lowering your chest toward the ground. If you're breathing into your chest, you'll feel your weight drift sideways, your shoulders straining under the load, your body twisting out of alignment. But if your breath is anchored in the hara, everything shifts. Your body stabilizes instantly. Your torso becomes a single piece. The downward movement slows, controlled, deliberate. It feels less like a push-up and more like your entire being hinges around a single point of gravity, buried deep beneath your navel. Let me ask you something right now. When you inhale, does your balancing arm feel lighter or heavier? Does the pressure in your belly make the movement steadier? Most people notice the same thing. When the breath drops into the hara, the wobble disappears. This is the same principle martial artists use when they deliver strikes or absorb impact. They don't tighten their muscles, they tighten their center. Their hara becomes a compressed spring of stability. And suddenly, movements that once felt impossible feel natural, even graceful. If you try the one-arm push-up with hara breathing, you'll feel a new kind of strength. Not the shaky, inconsistent strength of someone muscling their way through, but the calm, rooted power of someone whose energy center is awake. Each rep becomes an expression of integrated power. Your arm moves, but your strength rises from the ground, flows through your core, and anchors in your hara before transferring through your limbs. This is why some athletes, even without large muscles, perform incredible feats of stability. Their secret isn't visible. It's internal. It's quiet. It's hidden in the breath. The one-arm push-up is your second test. Can you move through adversity while anchoring your breath in the hara? Master this, and you'll understand why the samurai trusted their belly more than their hearts. Boom. Now I want you to imagine a situation even simpler than lifting a heavy weight or lowering yourself on one arm. Someone stands in front of you and gives you a firm push to the chest. Most people stagger backward immediately. Their weight is high, their breath is high, and their bodies behave like empty cans. Light, unstable, easily tipped. But a samurai rooted himself so deeply through the hara that even when shoved with full force, his body barely moved. He didn't brace. He didn't tense. He simply existed as an unshakable pillar. Let's recreate that moment together. Stand up straight. Relax your shoulders. Let your knees soften. Now place one hand over your lower belly. Before anything happens, take a slow 4-second inhale into your hara. Feel your stomach expand. Feel your weight drop. Feel your center grow dense and warm, like a stone sinking into deep water. As you exhale, keep that pressure inside your core, letting your body feel heavier, not stiff, but grounded. Now imagine someone pressing against you. If your breath rises to your chest, your balance floats upward, and your stance weakens instantly. But if your breath stays in your hara, if your belly remains full and gently pressurized, something remarkable happens. The force from the push doesn't knock you backward. Instead, it travels downward through your body, into your legs, and into the ground. Your spine stays aligned. Your feet stay planted. Your entire structure behaves like a rooted tree absorbing wind instead of a fragile branch snapping in half. This is the true nature of stability. It doesn't live in your muscles. It lives in your center. When the samurai spoke of the hara as their hidden weapon, this is what they meant: the ability to remain unmoving, unshaken, unbroken, even when the world applies pressure. Picture it again. You inhale into the hara. You feel the weight gather in your core, and as someone pushes you, your belly subtly expands, your breath stays low, and your whole body becomes a single, cohesive shape. It's almost eerie how calm it feels. No panic, no wobble, just presence. This test, standing firm when pushed, is one of the oldest demonstrations in martial arts. Masters use it to reveal whether a student's power comes from muscle or from center. And the difference is obvious the second the push lands. If your breath is high, you move. If your breath is low, you don't. Try this with a partner someday. You'll see how awakening the heart transforms your posture, your confidence, and your ability to withstand external pressure. Whether physical or emotional, this is the third application of the Samurai Energy Center, becoming immovable when the world pushes against you. The samurai didn't train the hara once and forget it. They built it day after day, breath after breath, until it became the silent engine behind everything they did. Now it's your turn to walk that same path, not through sword drills or battlefield rituals, but through a 7-day hara challenge designed to awaken your energy center from the inside out. I want you to imagine this week not as a routine, but as a slow ignition, a returning of something ancient inside you. On day 1, you simply learn to feel the hara. Place your hand on your lower belly 5 times throughout the day. Breathe in for 4 seconds. Breathe out for 4 seconds. No pressure, no effort, just awareness. The goal is to reconnect with the space 2 inches below your navel, the 2 inches of gold the samurai guarded with their lives. On day 2, you deepen the breath. 10 cycles in the morning, 10 at night, each one soft and grounded. You're not trying to breathe more. You're trying to breathe lower. Feel how the belly expands outward when you inhale, how the breath settles like warm weight in your center. You may even notice your shoulders relaxing without you telling them to. On day 3, you begin using the breath in movement. Every time you stand up from a chair, inhale into the hara first. Every time you bend down to pick something up, root your breath downward. It's small, subtle, but this is how warriors trained, integrating breath into action until the two became inseparable. On day 4, we add grounding. Stand with your feet hip-width apart for 2 minutes, close your eyes, and breathe into your hara. Feel the weight travel from your belly into your legs, into your feet, into the earth. This simple practice transforms how you walk and how you stand. Your steps start to feel heavier, more connected, more confident. On day 5, you practice stability. Lean your body forward and backward slightly while keeping your hara full. Notice how your balance improves when the breath stays low. This is where you'll start to recognize the samurai's secret. Stability is not in your ankles or knees. It is in your center. On day 6, you use the breath during a strength task. It doesn't matter what it is, a plank, a squat, carrying a bag, even opening a stubborn jar. Begin every action with one deep inhale into the hara. Feel the pressure rise, feel your torso tighten from within, and move from that internal support. Even ordinary tasks will suddenly feel different, lighter, smoother, more controlled. Then comes day 7, the awakening day. For 5 minutes, breathe into your hara nonstop. Inhale 4 seconds. Exhale 4 seconds. Let the lower belly expand. Let your mind settle. Let your thoughts sink. By the end of those minutes, a calm heaviness fills your center, the same calmness that filled warriors before they stepped into the unknown. By completing this challenge, you won't just improve your breathing. You'll feel a shift in posture, a shift in confidence, a shift in presence. People who train their hara walk differently, speak differently. They carry a quiet strength, a grounded awareness that others notice even if they can't explain it. This is the path the samurai walked, and now it's yours. When the samurai spoke of the hara, they weren't talking about fitness tricks or temporary boosts of power. They were describing a way of moving through life, rooted, calm, unshakable. And once you begin training your energy center, the effects don't stay trapped in your belly. They spread outward into every corner of your existence, reshaping how you stand, how you think, and how you respond to the world. The first long-term change you'll notice is physical strength that feels effortless. Not the strained, trembling kind of strength that comes from overworking your muscles, but a deeper force that travels upward from your core like rising heat. Movements become smoother, heavier lifts become manageable, and your body begins to behave as a single, integrated unit. Your posture straightens without conscious effort. Your back feels supported. Your joints work with less resistance. Even something as simple as walking begins to feel more grounded, more intentional, as if each step is being generated by that quiet engine deep inside your abdomen. Then comes endurance. When your breath lives in the hara, you stop wasting energy on unnecessary tension. Your neck relaxes. Your shoulders soften. Your rib cage loosens. Your body stops fighting itself. That's why athletes who breathe into their hara seem tireless, because the breath fuels their movement instead of draining it. You may notice during long days that you don't fatigue the same way. Your body has learned to distribute effort from the center outward, rather than pulling from scattered muscles. But the most surprising transformation is mental. Hara breathing doesn't just stabilize your body, it steadies your mind. When your breath sinks into the belly, your thoughts become slower, cleaner, more focused. The noise drops away. Decisions become easier because fear no longer jerks you around. You feel a kind of quiet courage that doesn't depend on mood or motivation. It rises naturally from the center, the way a tree draws strength from its roots. This is the inner confidence the samurai called immovable mind, a state where external chaos cannot disturb your inner balance. Over time, you'll begin using the hara in daily situations without even realizing it. Someone raises their voice at you, and you instinctively breathe low instead of reacting. A stressful moment hits, and your belly expands instead of your chest tightening. You walk into a room and feel your presence settle before you speak. People may even ask why you seem calmer, more grounded, more there. They won't know the secret, but you will. This is the long arc of hard training. Strength that feels natural, stability that feels permanent, and confidence that comes from something deeper than thought. You stop floating through life. You begin living from your center. If you have followed this journey all the way here, then something inside you has already changed. You've felt the breath drop lower. You've sensed the weight gathering in your hara. And maybe, just maybe, you've realized that strength was never something you had to chase. It was something sleeping quietly inside you, waiting to be awakened. The samurai understood this long before science ever tried to prove it. They knew that a person who breathes from the hara stands differently, speaks differently, moves differently. Their presence sharpens, their doubts loosen, their inner world becomes steady, like a flame protected from the wind. Before we end, I want you to take one more breath, slow, deep, directed into the 2 inches of gold beneath your navel. Feel how calm your mind becomes when the breath descends. Feel how firm your body becomes when the core expands. This is your hidden weapon. This is the energy center you were born with, but never trained. Now I challenge you. Try the practice right after this video. And if even one moment of clarity or power rises from your hara, come back and write in the comments, "My hara is awakened." I will be there, reading every single one. Because this is not just a technique. It's a return to the center you've always carried within you.